I didn't realize when it started. That's the weird part. If you asked me back then, I would have told you Eric and I were just friends. Close, yeah? Maybe closer than most. But still just friends. That's what we always said. That's what he always said. And honestly, I believed him. Until he started getting weird about other guys. Eric and I met in a pretty normal way, college gym, late evening, both of us pretending we knew what we were doing with weights we probably shouldn't have been lifting. He was the one who talked to me first. Dude, you're about to destroy your shoulder. I remember turning around, already annoyed, and then immediately losing my train of thought. He had this easy confidence about him. Not cocky, just comfortable. Like he belonged wherever he stood. I laughed it off. Yeah? You gonna coach me now? If you don't want permanent damage, yeah? That was it. That's how it started. After that, we just kind of stuck. Same gym schedule. Then protein shakes after. Then grabbing food. Then hanging out outside the gym. It all blended together so naturally that I don't think either of us questioned it. People definitely noticed, though. You two dating or what? One of the guys from our class joked once. Eric didn't even hesitate. Nah, he wishes. I rolled my eyes, but there was something about how quickly he shut it down that stuck with me. Still, I didn't push it. Because at that point, it was easy. Comfortable. And I didn't want to mess that up. The thing about Eric is, he was always a little touchy. Not in an obvious way. Just small things. A hand on my shoulder when he laughed. Grabbing my arm when he was making a point. Sitting a little too close when we were on the couch. It was the kind of stuff you could easily brush off. And I did. For a while. Because every time my brain tried to make it into something more, I'd remind myself, he's straight. He talked about girls, went on dates. There was no confusion there. At least, that's what I told myself. Then came the first moment I couldn't ignore. We were at a small house party. Nothing crazy, just music, drinks, people from campus. Eric and I showed up together, like always. I ended up talking to this guy, Liam. He was funny, easy to talk to, and yeah, he was definitely flirting. I hadn't even realized how long we'd been talking until Eric suddenly appeared next to me. Out of nowhere. He didn't say anything at first. Just stood there, way too close, his shoulder brushing mine. Liam glanced between us. Oh, sorry, was I interrupting? No, I said quickly. Eric, though? He just smiled. But it wasn't his usual smile. Nah, he said, voice casual. Just came to steal him for a sec. Before I could even react, his hand wrapped around my wrist, and he pulled me away. Actually pulled me. I laughed at first, thinking he was joking. Dude, what? What was that? He cut in. I blinked. What was what? That guy. I stared at him, confused. Just talking. Eric scoffed, running a hand through his hair. Yeah, it looked like more than that. Something about his tone made my chest tighten. Since when do you care? I asked. He paused. Just for a second. Then he shrugged. I don't. Just saying he seemed like a tool. I let out a small laugh, but it felt forced. You don't even know him. Don't need to. There was this tension in the air suddenly. Thick. Uncomfortable. And then just as quickly as it came, he clapped my shoulder. Come on, let's get another drink. Like nothing happened. I tried to forget about it. I really did. But that wasn't the last time. Not even close. It became a pattern after that. Anytime I talked to a guy, even casually, Eric would show up. Sometimes subtle. Sometimes not. A hand on my back. An arm slung over my shoulders. Standing just a little too close. And always that same look on his face. Like something was bothering him, but he wouldn't say it. One night it got worse. We were at a bar this time. Louder, more crowded. I'd had a couple drinks, enough to relax a bit. I was at the counter waiting for our order when this guy next to me started talking. Just small talk at first, then it shifted. You here with someone? He asked. Yeah, my friend. Just a friend? I smirked slightly. Yeah. He smiled, leaning in a little. That's good. I knew where it was going. And for once, I didn't pull away. I let it happen. Maybe part of me was curious. Maybe part of me was just tired of pretending I didn't notice things. But before anything could actually happen, there it was again. That familiar presence behind me. Eric. His hand landed on my waist this time. Not my shoulder. Not my arm. My waist. Firm. Possessive. I froze. Hey, he said, his voice low, right next to my ear. Drinks are ready. The guy in front of me raised an eyebrow, clearly picking up on the tension. I turned slightly. I know, Eric cut in. His grip tightened just a little. Not enough to hurt. But enough to say something. Something I couldn't quite name. We walked back to our table in silence. My heart was beating way too fast, and not just from the alcohol. As soon as we sat down, I turned to him. What is your problem? Eric frowned. What? You keep doing that. Doing what? This, I gestured vaguely. Acting weird every time I talk to someone. I'm not acting weird. I let out a short laugh. You literally just grabbed me like I was your boyfriend. The words slipped out before I could stop them. And the second they did, everything changed. Eric went quiet. Completely still. His eyes locked onto mine, something unreadable flickering behind them. For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then he leaned back in his chair, exhaling slowly. We're just friends, Harry. The way he said it didn't feel reassuring. It felt like a warning. And that's when I realized. This wasn't nothing. Not anymore. That sentence stuck with me way more than it should have. We're just friends, Harry. He said it like he needed to remind both of us. Like whatever had just happened at the bar crossed some invisible line, and he was the one dragging it back into place. But the problem was, he was the one who crossed it in the first place. After that night, things didn't go back to normal. At least not for me. Eric acted like everything was fine. Same gym sessions, same jokes, same casual touches like nothing had changed. But now I noticed everything. Every time his hand lingered too long. Every time he got a little too close. Every time his mood shifted the second someone else gave me attention. It wasn't subtle anymore. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. A few days later, I decided to test it. Not in some calculated way. I just stopped holding myself back. If a guy talked to me, I didn't shut it down. If someone flirted, I let it happen. And yeah, part of me wanted to see how Eric would react. I didn't have to wait long. We were back at the gym, finishing up a workout. I was at the cable machine when this guy I'd seen around a few times came over. Tall, chill, easy smile. Hey, you mind if I jump in after you? Yeah, go for it, I said. We started talking. Nothing serious. Just gym stuff, routines, that kind of thing. But it was clear where it was heading. So, you usually come around this time? He asked. Yeah, mostly. Maybe we could. Harry. Eric's voice cut in. Sharp. I turned. He was standing a few feet away, watching us. Not even pretending to be casual. What? I said. We're done here. I frowned. I've got one more set. No, you don't. The other guy glanced between us, clearly uncomfortable now. I can come back later, he muttered. You don't have to. I started, but he was already backing off. And just like that, the moment was gone. Again. I dropped the handle, turning fully toward Eric. Seriously? He shrugged, grabbing his water bottle. What? You just scared him off. I didn't do anything. I stared at him. You're doing it again. Doing what? That thing where you act like. I stopped myself, exhaling. Why do you care? I don't, he said immediately. Too quickly. I let out a dry laugh. Right. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. I just don't like the guy. You don't even know him. I don't need to. There it was again. Same words. Same tone. Like a broken record. I shook my head, grabbing my bag. You're being ridiculous. Am I? He shot back. Yes. We stood there for a second, tension building between us, thick and uncomfortable. Then he ran a hand through his hair, clearly frustrated. Whatever, man. And just like that, he walked off, leaving me standing there, more confused than ever. That should have been the moment I pulled away, set boundaries, created distance. But instead, I did the opposite. Because the truth is, as frustrating as it was, I couldn't ignore how it made me feel. That night, we ended up back at my place. It wasn't planned. It just happened. Like it always did. We ordered food, threw on some random show, sat on opposite ends of the couch at first. There was still tension from earlier. Unspoken. Hanging in the air. About halfway through the episode, Eric shifted closer. Not all the way. Just enough. Still mad? He asked. I kept my eyes on the TV. No. Doesn't sound like no. I sighed. You were being annoying. He huffed out a small laugh. Annoying? Yes. For what? Looking out for you? I turned to him. I don't need you to look out for me. His jaw tightened slightly. Yeah, well, someone has to. What does that even mean? He didn't answer right away. Just looked at me. Really looked at me. And suddenly, the room felt smaller. You don't see it, he said quietly. See what? The way guys look at you. I blinked, caught off guard. Okay. I don't like it. There it was. Finally. Something honest. My heart did this weird, uncomfortable flip. Why? I asked. He hesitated. And for a second, just a second, I thought he might actually say it. But then he looked away, leaning back into the couch. Because most of them are idiots. I let out a breath, tension snapping. Wow. Great answer. He smirked slightly, like he was trying to lighten it again. I'm serious. No, you're deflecting. He didn't respond to that. Just stared at the screen like the conversation was over. But I wasn't letting it go this time. I shifted closer, forcing him to look at me. No, say it. Say what? The real reason? He held my gaze for a second. 2 seconds. Then he shook his head. Drop it, Harry. I didn't move. No. Something in his expression changed. Frustration. Tension. Something deeper under the surface. You really want to know? He asked. Yeah. I just don't like sharing you. Silence. Heavy. Loud. Everything in my chest tightened at once. Sharing me? I repeated. He immediately looked like he regretted saying it. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I don't know, he muttered, running a hand over his face. Forget it. No, I'm not forgetting that. He stood up suddenly, pacing a few steps like he needed space. This is exactly why I didn't want to say anything. Say what, Eric? He stopped. Back turned to me. Shoulders tense. For a second, I thought he was just going to walk out. But then... You're mine, okay? My breath caught. He turned around, eyes locked on mine. And even he looked a little shocked by what he just said. But not like that, he added quickly. I just mean... We're just friends. I finished for him. The words tasted different now. He didn't answer. And somehow, that silence said everything. I didn't sleep that night. Not even close. Eric ended up staying over like he always did, like nothing had just shifted between us in a way either of us could undo. We didn't talk about it again. He crashed on my bed, I took the couch. But the silence? It was loud. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard it again. "You're mine," followed immediately by, "But not like that." "Yeah. Right." The next morning felt off. Not awkward exactly, but careful. Like we were both pretending we didn't remember what happened. Eric was already up when I walked into the kitchen. Shirtless, making coffee like he owned the place. "Morning," he said casually. "Morning." I leaned against the counter, watching him for a second. Trying to read him. Nothing. Same Eric. Same calm expression. Like he didn't basically short-circuit my brain the night before. "You heading to class?" he asked. "Yeah." He nodded, handing me a mug. Our fingers brushed for a second. And that tiny, stupid contact? It hit differently now. Everything did. For the next few days, we fell into this weird rhythm. Still together all the time. Still acting normal. But there was something underneath it now. Unspoken. Building. And Eric? He didn't stop. If anything, he got worse. It was like he'd crossed some internal line, and now he couldn't go back. He didn't just interrupt anymore. He inserted himself. Everywhere. At the gym, he stayed right next to me the entire time. At parties, he barely left my side. If someone even looked at me too long, I could feel his mood shift instantly. And the touching? Yeah. That changed too. It wasn't casual anymore. It was deliberate. One night we were out again, same bar as before. I hadn't planned on doing anything, honestly. I just wanted to hang out, maybe drink a little, forget how confusing everything had gotten. But of course, that didn't last. I was standing near the edge of the dance floor when someone came up to me. Different guy this time. Confident. Direct. "You look like you're not having fun," he said. I smirked. "That obvious?" "Yeah." "Come dance." I hesitated. Not because of him. Because of Eric. I glanced around, already knowing. And there he was. Across the room. Watching. Our eyes locked. And I swear, something in his expression tightened the second he realized what was happening. I should have said no. I should have just stayed where I was. But instead, I turned back to the guy. "All right," I said. The second I stepped onto that dance floor, I felt it. Not the music. Not the crowd. Eric. I didn't even have to look. I knew he was watching. At first, it was fine. Just dancing. Nothing crazy. But the guy got closer. Hands on my hips. Leaning in. And I let him. That's when it happened. A hand wrapped around my wrist. Firm. Familiar. I didn't even need to turn around. "Eric! Come on!" His voice was low. Controlled. But I could hear it. That edge. "I'm busy," I said, pulling slightly. Big mistake. His grip tightened. Not enough to hurt. But enough to stop me. I said, "Come on." The guy behind me stepped back immediately. "Hey man, it's cool." "Yeah." Eric cut in, not even looking at him. "It is." And just like that, it was over. Again. This time, I didn't let him pull me away quietly. I yanked my hand free. "What the hell is wrong with you?" He stared at me like I was the one out of line. "Let's go." "No." His jaw clenched. "Harry." "No," I repeated. "I'm not leaving just because you decided I should." People were starting to notice now. I didn't care. "You were all over him," Eric said. And, he stopped himself, exhaling sharply. "You don't even know that guy." I laughed, shaking my head. "You're unbelievable." "I'm trying to." "To what? Control me?" His expression darkened. "That's not what I'm doing." "It literally is." For a second, we just stood there. Tension snapping between us. Loud music. Crowd moving around us. And somehow it still felt like we were the only two people there. Then he stepped closer. Too close. "You don't get it," he said quietly. "Then explain it." Another pause. Another moment where I thought, this is it. He's finally gonna say it. But instead, you're drunk, he muttered. We're leaving. That was it. That was the final push. I laughed. Actually laughed. Unbelievable. I turned away from him, running a hand through my hair. You don't get to do this, Eric. Do what? This hole. I gestured between us. Whatever the hell this is. He didn't answer. Of course he didn't. So I did something I hadn't done before. Something that even surprised me. I turned back toward the dance floor. Toward the guy. And I grabbed his hand. Come on, I said. I didn't even look at Eric. But I felt it. The second it hit him. And yeah, that's when everything really started to fall apart. The second I took that guy's hand, I felt it. That shift in the air. Like something snapped. I didn't turn around. I didn't need to. I knew Eric was watching. The guy smiled, a little surprised but clearly not complaining. Thought you ditched me. Not yet, I said. But my voice felt off. Like I was forcing it. We moved back into the crowd, closer this time. His hands went to my waist again. And this time? I didn't hesitate. I let him pull me in. It should have felt good. Simple. Easy. Normal. But all I could think about was Eric. I lasted maybe 30 seconds. Maybe. Before. A hand grabbed my shoulder. Hard. Enough. I turned around this time. And yeah, I'd never seen Eric like that before. Not just annoyed. Not just irritated. Mad. What is your problem? I snapped. My problem? He repeated, almost laughing, but there was nothing funny about it. You're really doing this right now? Doing what? Living my life? With him? He gestured sharply behind me. Yes, I shot back. With someone who actually wants me. The second the words left my mouth, I knew I hit something. His expression changed instantly. Like I'd just crossed a line I didn't even know existed. What's that supposed to mean? He asked quietly. I held his gaze. You tell me. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. The guy behind me shifted awkwardly. Hey, I don't want to get in the middle of. You're not. Eric cut him off without even looking. This doesn't concern you. It kinda does if you keep grabbing him like that, the guy said, more confident now. Bad move. Eric's eyes snapped to him. Cold. Sharp. You should leave. Or what? The guy challenged. I stepped between them immediately. Stop. Both of you. My heart was racing now, adrenaline kicking in. This wasn't just tension anymore. This was about to turn into something worse. Eric, I said, lowering my voice. Let it go. He didn't even look at me. Just kept staring at the guy. Like he was sizing him up. Seriously, I added, firmer this time. That finally got his attention. His gaze snapped back to mine. And for a second, just a second, I saw it. Not anger. Not jealousy. Something deeper. Something almost desperate. Why are you doing this? He asked. And that? That threw me off completely. I frowned. Doing what? This, he said, gesturing between me and the guy again. Pushing me like this. I let out a breath, shaking my head. I'm not pushing you. I'm just not letting you control me anymore. I'm not controlling you. You literally dragged me off the dance floor. Because I didn't want to see that. There it was. Again. Why? I asked. And this time, I didn't let him look away. Why, Eric? The noise around us faded. At least it felt like it did. Like everything narrowed down to just that moment. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Ran a hand through his hair like he was trying to get his thoughts together. I don't know, he muttered. I stared at him. That's not good enough. He exhaled sharply, frustration building again. I said I don't know. Then figure it out, I shot back. Because this isn't normal. Another pause. Another moment where everything felt like it was balancing on the edge of something. And then, he stepped closer. Too close. I hate it, he said. My breath caught. Hate what? The way they look at you, he said, voice lower now. Rougher. The way they touch you. My chest tightened. And? I pushed. His jaw clenched. Like he was fighting himself. And I hate that you let them. That did it. I let out a sharp laugh, stepping back. Wow. What? You don't get to say that, I said. You don't get to act like you have any claim over me. I'm not saying I do. You literally said I'm yours. Silence. Yeah. He remembered. That's not what I meant, he said, but even he didn't sound convincing. Then what did you mean? I asked. He didn't answer. Of course he didn't. I shook my head, stepping back again. I'm done with this. I turned, grabbing the other guy's hand again. Let's go somewhere else. This time, I meant it. But I didn't get more than 2 steps. Because Eric's voice stopped me. Harry. Something in the way he said it. Low. Tight. Almost breaking. Made me pause. I didn't turn around. Don't. Please. That word? That one word? It hit different. Slowly. I turned back. And what I saw. Yeah. That changed everything. I wish I could say it was something dramatic. Like he confessed everything right there. Like the music stopped, people disappeared, and it turned into one of those moments you know will change your life forever. It wasn't like that. It was quieter. Worse, somehow. Eric just stood there. Looking at me like he'd already lost something. Don't go with him, he said. Not angry. Not demanding. Just honest. And that messed me up way more than anything else. I frowned slightly. Why? He didn't answer right away. Of course. But this time, it wasn't avoidance. It was hesitation. Like he was actually thinking about what he was about to say. I'm trying, he muttered. My chest tightened. Trying what? To not screw this up. That? Yeah. That caught me off guard. Behind me, the guy shifted again. Okay, I think I'm definitely gonna head out. Yeah, I said quickly, still staring at Eric. Sorry. He nodded, gave me a small, understanding look, and disappeared into the crowd. And just like that, it was just us again. Same as always. Except now it didn't feel simple anymore. You're trying? I repeated. Eric exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, Harry. That was new. Eric always knew what he was doing. Or at least acted like it. So stop acting like you do, I said. His eyes snapped to mine. Then tell me what this is, he said. I let out a quiet, almost disbelieving laugh. You're asking me? Yeah, he said. Because clearly you've got it figured out. I don't, I admitted. And that was the truth. I just know this isn't normal, I added. He nodded slightly. Yeah. Silence fell again. But it felt different this time. Less explosive. More fragile. I don't like seeing you with other guys, he said finally. I crossed my arms. I know. I didn't before, he added quickly. Or, I didn't notice it like this. Like what? He hesitated. Then looked straight at me. Like it actually bothers me. There it was. Again. Closer. But still not all the way. And what does that mean? I asked. His jaw tightened. I don't know. I sighed, running a hand through my hair. That's the problem, Eric. You never know. That's not fair. It is, I shot back. You act on everything, every feeling, every impulse, But when it comes to actually saying something real? You shut down. He flinched slightly at that. Just enough for me to notice. I'm here, aren't I? He said. That's not the same. Then what do you want from me? He asked, frustration creeping back in. I stepped closer. Not aggressively. Just enough that he had to actually focus on me. I want you to stop pretending this is nothing. His expression shifted. I'm not pretending. Yes, you are, I said quietly. Because if this was really just friends, I gestured between us, you wouldn't be acting like this. Silence. He didn't argue. Didn't deflect. Didn't joke. That was new too. So what is it then? I asked. Another pause. But this one felt different. He wasn't running from it anymore. I don't know what to call it, he said. I nodded slowly. Okay. That wasn't the answer I expected. But it was something. But I know I don't like the idea of you being with someone else, he added. There it was again. Clear. Simple. Honest. My heart picked up. And you think that's normal? I asked. No, he admitted. Then why keep saying we're just friends? That question hit. I could see it. Because he didn't have an answer. I've never. He started, then stopped. Never what? He looked away briefly. Then back at me. Never felt like this before. That did something to me. Something I wasn't ready for. Like what? I asked, softer now. His eyes held mine. Longer this time. No running. No dodging. Like I actually care what you do when I'm not around, he said. My chest tightened. Like it bothers me when someone else touches you, he continued. My breath caught. Like he stopped himself. Hard. And yeah. That part? That was the one that mattered. Like you what? I pushed. He shook his head immediately. Don't. Eric. I said don't, he repeated, but his voice wasn't strong anymore. That's when I realized something. He wasn't holding back because he didn't feel it. He was holding back because he did. The silence between us stretched. But it wasn't empty anymore. It was full of everything he wasn't saying. I took a small step closer. Then stop, I said quietly. His brows furrowed. Stop what? Hiding behind I don't know. He let out a slow breath, like I was asking him to do something way harder than it sounded. Maybe I was. You think this is easy for me? He said. No, I admitted. But it's not easy for me either. That landed. I could see it. Because for the first time, this wasn't just about him anymore. I don't know where I stand with you, I continued. One minute you're acting like I'm yours, the next you're reminding me we're just friends. I shook my head slightly. That messes with me. Eric looked at me like he hadn't fully considered that. Like everything had been so internal for him, he forgot I was in it too. I didn't mean to. I know, I cut in gently. But you are. Another pause. But this one didn't feel tense. It felt real. So what do you want? He asked. That question hit harder than I expected. Because the truth? I'd been so focused on him figuring his shit out. I hadn't really said mine out loud. I want you to be honest with me, I said. I am being honest. No, I shook my head. You're being halfway honest. His jaw tightened slightly. You say you don't like seeing me with other guys, I continued. You say it bothers you. You say you don't want to share me. I stepped closer again. So say the rest of it. His eyes locked onto mine. And there it was again. That hesitation. That fear. I can't, he said quietly. Why not? Because if I do, he trailed off. If you do what? I pushed. He swallowed. Hard. If I say it out loud, it becomes real. I didn't look away. Maybe it already is. That hit. I could see it. Because deep down, he knew I was right. You think I haven't noticed? I added, softer now. The way you look at me. The way you act when someone else gets close. A small pause. You don't do that for just a friend. His breathing shifted. Slower. Heavier. I know, he admitted. And yeah, that was the first time he actually said it. My heart picked up. Then what are you so scared of? I asked. He let out a quiet, almost frustrated laugh. Everything. I frowned slightly. That's not an answer. It is for me, he said. I studied him for a second. Really looked at him. And then it clicked. You've never done this before, I said. He didn't respond. But he didn't deny it either. You don't know what this is, I continued. You don't know what it means. His eyes flickered slightly. And that scares you, I finished. Yeah. That one word? It was the most honest he'd been the entire night. I nodded slowly. Okay. He looked at me, confused. Okay? Yeah, I said. That I understand. That seemed to throw him off more than anything else. You do? He asked. Yeah, I shrugged lightly. Because I'd been there. His brows pulled together. Not with you, I clarified. But figuring things out. Not knowing what something means yet. He looked like he was processing that. So what do I do? He asked. I exhaled slowly. You stop fighting it. His expression tightened slightly. That doesn't mean you have to label it right now, I added. It just means you stop pretending it's nothing. Another pause. And what if it is something? He asked. I held his gaze. Then we deal with it. That answer hung between us. Heavy. But not in a bad way. In a real way. Eric ran a hand through his hair again, pacing a step before stopping right in front of me. You're really okay with that? He asked. With what? This, whatever this turns into. I didn't answer right away. Because yeah, that part wasn't simple. But I knew one thing. I'm not okay pretending it's nothing anymore. That was enough. He nodded slowly. Like something in him finally settled. Then, before I could overthink it, he stepped closer. Close enough that I could feel his breath. And for the first time since all of this started, he didn't pull back. I don't want to see you with anyone else, he said quietly. My chest tightened again. That sounds like more than just friends, I replied. A small, almost nervous exhale left him. Yeah, he said. Another step closer. And I don't think I can keep pretending it's not. That was it. That was the moment. No big confession. No perfect words. Just honesty. Raw. Messy. Real. And somehow, that felt even bigger. Then don't, I said softly. He looked at me for a second longer. Like he was still giving himself one last chance to back out. But he didn't. And yeah. What happened next? That's where everything finally changed. There's this moment. Right before something happens. Where everything kind of holds its breath. That's exactly what it felt like. Eric was standing right in front of me. Closer than he'd ever been before without pulling away. Closer than he'd ever allowed himself to be. And for once, he wasn't hiding behind jokes. Or excuses. Or that stupid, "We're just friends" line. He just looked at me. Like he was finally seeing me differently. Say something, I muttered, mostly because my heart was beating way too fast and the silence was killing me. A small, nervous huff left him. You're really gonna make me do this, huh? I've been making you do this all night, I said. Yeah, he nodded slightly. You have. Another pause. But it didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt like anticipation. I don't know how to say it, he admitted. I tilted my head slightly. Then don't overthink it. He let out a quiet breath. Looked at me. Then finally, I don't think I'm straight. Yeah. That did it. Not because it was shocking. Not really. Deep down, I think I already knew. But hearing him say it out loud, that made it real. And? I asked softer now. And I think. He hesitated, but only for a second this time. I think it's you. My chest tightened instantly. Me? I repeated. He nodded. Yeah. Silence. But not the awkward kind. Not the tense kind. The kind that settles in when something finally clicks. All of this. He gestured between us. The way I've been acting. The way I can't stand seeing you with someone else. A breath. It's not random. I swallowed. It's you. And yeah. That hit harder than anything else he'd said. Because it wasn't just confusion anymore. It wasn't just jealousy. It was specific. Okay, I said quietly. He blinked. Okay? I nodded. Yeah. That clearly wasn't the reaction he expected. You're just okay with that? He asked. I shrugged slightly, even though my heart was still racing. I mean, it makes sense. A small, disbelieving laugh left him. Of course you'd say that. What? I smirked faintly. You thought I was gonna freak out. I didn't know what you'd do, he admitted. Well, I said, stepping just a little closer. I'm not freaking out. That closed the distance completely. Now there was nothing between us. No space. No excuses. No pretending. Just this. Eric looked down at me for a second. Like he was still processing the fact that I hadn't pulled away. That I was still there. You're not helping, he muttered. How? You're making this harder. I raised an eyebrow. Pretty sure you've been the one making it hard this whole time. That got a real reaction out of him. A small smile. Quick. But genuine. Yeah, that's fair, he admitted. Another pause. But this one? It felt different. Because now, there was nothing left unsaid. So what happens now? He asked. I looked at him for a second. Really looked at him. You tell me, I said. His eyes dropped briefly to my lips. Then back up. And that? Yeah. That answered the question before he even spoke. I think, he started, voice quieter now. I've been wanting to do something for a while. My breath caught slightly. Then do it, I said. That was all it took. No more hesitation. No more overthinking. He closed the distance first. And when his hand came up to my jaw, gentle but steady, everything in my chest just stopped. For a split second. Then started again faster. And yeah, when he kissed me, it wasn't messy. It wasn't rushed. It was careful. Like he was still figuring it out. But didn't want to mess it up. And somehow, that made it better. I didn't pull away. Didn't hesitate. Because finally, everything made sense. When he pulled back, just slightly, his forehead rested against mine. Neither of us said anything for a second. Definitely not just friends, I murmured. He let out a quiet laugh. Breath still uneven. Yeah, he said. I think we passed that a while ago. We didn't say much after that. We didn't need to. Eric stayed close. Closer than before, but not in that confusing, undefined way anymore. Now it felt intentional. Clear. We ended up leaving the bar not long after. Not because anything was wrong, but because staying there suddenly felt pointless. The walk back was quiet. Not awkward. Just calm. Every now and then our hands would brush, and neither of us pulled away anymore. That alone felt like a big deal. When we got back to my place, we just stood there for a second. Inside. Door closed. Same space we'd been in 100 times before. But it felt completely different now. Eric looked around like he was seeing it all for the first time. Then back at me. So, this is weird, right? He said. I let out a small laugh. Yeah. He nodded. Okay, good. That made me smile. Because it was so, him. Still trying to make sense of everything, even after crossing the line. Regret it? I asked. His answer was immediate. No. Not even a second of hesitation. That did something to me. Good, I said quietly. Another pause. But this one wasn't uncertain. It felt like figuring out what came next. So what are we now? He asked. I raised an eyebrow. You really want to label it already? He winced slightly. Yeah, that sounded stupid. A little, I admitted. He huffed out a laugh, running a hand through his hair again. I just don't want to mess this up, he said. I leaned against the wall slightly, watching him. You will. He blinked. Wow. That's reassuring. I mean it, I said. We both will. That's kind of how this works. He studied me for a second. But we won't pretend it's nothing anymore, I added. That part mattered. He nodded slowly. Yeah. Another step closer. And no more acting like you're mine while saying we're just friends, I added. That got a small smirk out of him. Fair. But, he said, tilting his head slightly, I still don't like the idea of you with other guys. I rolled my eyes lightly. Of course you don't. I'm serious. I know, I said. A small pause. But if you don't want me with other guys. I stepped closer again. Then maybe don't give me a reason to look elsewhere. That hit. I saw it in the way his expression shifted. Yeah, he said quietly. I think I can do that. And this time? It didn't sound like uncertainty. It sounded like a decision. We didn't rush anything after that. No big dramatic moment. No sudden change overnight. But everything did change. The next few weeks were different. In a good way. Eric was still Eric. Still sarcastic. Still confident. Still a little annoying. But now, there was no confusion behind it. If he touched me, it meant something. If he got jealous, he didn't hide it, or deny it. If something bothered him, he actually tried to say it. And me? I stopped pretending I didn't see it. Stopped second-guessing every little thing. We figured it out as we went. Slowly. Messily. Honestly. And yeah, he still got jealous sometimes. Like when someone looked at me a little too long. Or when a guy tried to start a conversation at the gym. But now, instead of dragging me away or shutting it down, he just stepped closer. Casual. Confident. Not hiding it anymore. And every time, I'd catch that same look in his eyes. Not confusion. Not denial. Just mine. And for once, he didn't take it back. So yeah, that's how it happened. Just a friend. The one who swore up and down that's all we were. Turned out to be the one who couldn't stand the idea